Hey folks, Kilt-Man here, Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? I've been doing very, very well. Now, you've probably heard all these rumours circulating around the forums and Tinternet and the tube known as you, and about Commando 2 Retribution, with Arnold Schwarzenegger set to reprise his role, his iconic role as Special Forces Commando Colonel John Matrix. Bullshit, I say. Absolute bullshit. These rumours were started, oh god, about 18 months ago, and I did report on it at the time, that they were looking to, like every studio wants to do these days, ransack the vaults, go down to the tombs, the catacombs, break open the caskets, and drag out the carcasses of their former cash cow heroes, and try to bring them back, rejuvenate them, just for the final stab at the box office. And how many times is it successful? They've done it with Michael Myers, they've done it with Indiana Jones, they've done it with fucking everybody. Even Stallone came back with more Rocky movies, he did more Rambo movies. Now, Rambo, as in Rambo 4, was great, but Rambo Last Blood was despicable. A complete and utter travesty. I hope Stallone's learned. His birthday was yesterday, I think. I think he was 77 or something like that. Or was he 79? Not sure. But age does play a huge part in this. So, anyway, let's get back to Commando 2 Retribution. No director, nothing is set in stone. Now, the rumours have resurfaced again in the last few days. I'd seen them, but this morning I woke up to lots of little messages on my phone from my friends around the world saying, have you heard about Commando 2? They're doing Commando 2. And I thought, they're not though, are they? Where did you get this information from? Where did you get the information from? Indeed. Giant freaking robot. Yeah, that cesspit of complete inane waffle and drivel and lies. Farcical stuff they come out with. If you look at any of their reports, that's AI written. That is complete AI garbage. Now, don't get me wrong, I think they will have looked into doing Commando 2. Let's not forget, 1985, Mark L. Lester directed Arnie as Matrix, Colonel John Matrix. I'm laughing because, well, you guys know how much I love that movie, but also how fucking stupid that movie is. I have reviewed it, and I've reviewed James Horner's score, which you're hearing right now, and I think I did a watch party for Commando as well. I'm pretty certain I did. If I haven't, I definitely will do. But after the Terminator and obviously Conan the Barbarian, this was Arnie's big defining moment. It's set in motion, like he is the 80s icon. Macho guns, one-liners, really corny, pithy quips, and muscles on show, looking like the absolute epitome of pure machismo manhood. Alpha male, kick-ass, supremo. And we love it. I view Commando as a comedy. I can't view it as anything other than that. As an actual action war film, it's with all the pathetic stunts and the springboards on show. The complete. He's huge. How does 100 people miss him? He can't even hide behind a tree. Most of him is on show. When he hides in the Galleria, when he hides in there from all the mall cops. And like he ducks behind a great big pillar. Half of his chest is still sticking out. It's just, I love it though. We all love it. And the time to have done a Commando sequel would have been, this came out in 85, let him do Running Man, let him do Predator, and then come back with Commando 2. That would have worked. Not now. Not now. He's too old. The one role that Arnie could go back to, which I'd love to see him do, and I've said it a million times, it's over there, folks. It's Conan the Barbarian. He did Conan the Barbarian, he did Conan the Destroyer. I love them both. But we do need to cap off that trilogy. I'll be honest, it's us fanboys that created the fact that it should be an Arnie trilogy. No one else ever said that. Only after the event, people say, oh, we should do another one. Yeah, King Conan, because they hint, of course, at the end of Conan the Barbarian, we see the older Conan sitting on his throne, wearing the crown of Aquilonia upon a troubled brow. And we want to get that story. In graphic novel and comic books, they have told old Conan sagas, and easily Arnie could do that. He hasn't even got to do a great deal. But, so, giant freaking robot. And is now bubbling along with this Commando to Retribution. Arnie, who is 75 years old, I'm not sure, he's going to be 76 this year, or is he just turned 75? Whatever, he's 75. And he's going to be reprising the role, so they say. And what do you think the plot is? Just have a little guess. Have a little guess. This is a guy with so many commando missions under his belt, in every theatre of warfare known to man, and a few which probably aren't known. He's done everything, been everywhere. You've made enemies all over the world, John. Could be the Libyans, the Syrians, the Russians. Could be anyone. Could be the Mexican cartels. Whatever. It could be anybody. So we know he's been everywhere and done everything. So what do you think the plot for this movie is reputed to be? His daughter gets kidnapped and he goes out to get her back and get revenge. Retribution. They do stop me, but I think I've seen that plot before. With Arnie, about his daughter being kidnapped and he gets revenge and kills enormous amounts of people. Oh yeah, it was in Commando. the very first Commando. Alyssa Milano gets kidnapped and he has to do a job to get. So people are using her to force me to do a job. Well, won't you do this job? No, because they'll kill her anyway. All that matters to me now is Jenny. Her name's Jenny, but he can't say that. We know that. But so his daughter, is it the same daughter? I would presume it is. So are you going to bring back Alyssa Milano? Are you going to bring back Ray Dawn Chong as Cindy? Cindy, the air stewardess, who's also learning to fly a plane. This is not a plane. This is a canoe. This is a canoe with wings. Well, get in and start paddling. God. I love Arnie. What's he just done? Fubar and all that. But let's be honest. This ain't gonna happen, folks. And if you put your trust in giant freaking robot, well, more fool you. I do believe they've looked into getting a sequel done. And they probably looked into it back in the 90s, in the noughties, and then what do you call the 2010s, the tweenie, I don't know what you call them. And then now the 20s, the 2020s. So it wouldn't surprise me if people are still looking at it. We know that like Stallone, you see now, these two are rivals, aren't they? Stallone and Schwarzenegger. They're great mates, of course. But Stallone has enough vigour, enough punch to get older projects and even new projects off the ground. Tulsa King was excellent. You've got Expendables 4 to dubiously look forward to. I don't know so much about that, to be honest. And I'm a massive fan of the Expendables. Although I have to sit back and analyse that. I always say that. I love the first one. I like bits of the second one, but then it goes into complete farce. And the third one, well, the one great thing about the third one is Mel Gibson as the bad guy, because he's great and he's having fun doing it as well. So, and you've got Lethal Weapon 5. Actually, that's gone very quiet on that, hasn't it? Mel Gibson was going to be directing this, and Danny Glover was just everyone was coming back for it. And of all of these, drag them out of the grave and animate them and try to make a new movie. I think out of all Indiana Jones and this and, well, Stallone wants to do Cliffhanger 2. And Stallone, by the time he gets that done, he'll be 80. Now, I know Harrison Ford was 80 when he did Dial of Despair, but fuck me, that didn't work out so well, did it? So, really, gotta learn Hollywood. Does it ever learn? Never! Never learns. If there's a chance of making money, they'll do so. And they've got the figurehead, these guys, Harrison Ford, who now will not step back into Indiana Jones. Unless you want to try to, get the balance right and go out properly on a proper good movie, a more realistic movie. Yeah, I said realistic. What am I thinking? But I think the plot line that I had before this film came out, that of Despair, that of Destiny, God, Despair's more accurate. When I said about the old Indy being in a retirement home and then learning that from other people in the home that something might be buried, maybe in so-and-so's garden, but no one's ever been to that house in years. And it would be old codgers doing an Indiana-style adventure with that spirit of adventure. Think Cocoon, but with a bullwhip and added arthritis, you know. It could have worked. That could still be done. Don't have him fucking leaping around tuk-tuks and stuff and deep diving and parachuting out of planes back into the past. Don't have that shit happening. But Stallone wants to do Cliffhanger 2. And I heard recently there's talk of Demolition Man 2. What? The Shell's Revenge. Could be. When he's finally working out what the shells are used for. But I can't see that happening. But the rumour I heard about that was that Sandra Bullock's up for it. Well, whether they meant she was up for the movie or Sandra Bullock is just up for it. Yay! Do you like a bit of Bullock? But so these things always getting talented. Stallone definitely wants to do Cliffhanger 2. And a lot of the returning people are supposed to be back. Sorry, the people from the first one who survived are meant to be coming back for that. But I don't know how far along they are with the development of it. But again, he's playing Gabe Walker. And once again, John McClane style, there'll be more terrorists. So let's go back to Commando. His daughter gets kidnapped again. Is it the same daughter? One would presume so. Mark L. Lester directed this back in 1985. I have no idea who's attached, who's even any conjecture as to who's directing this. Maybe even Arnie's never even heard of this. Possibly not, you know, because this whole thing could be utterly pie in the sky, utterly made up AI garbage. Which I think, I'd put more money on that, to be honest. What's he going to do? Arnie couldn't run back then. There's no way he's going to run now. Now, we know that deepfake has been used on Arnie's face and Stallone's face because even years ago, they were swapping their faces so that Stallone was doing Arnie characters and Arnie was doing Stallone characters. And you know what? It was pretty good, even years ago. So we know that he can do this, and obviously you've had the de-aged Harrison Ford. But you can't make an entire movie. They're not that good yet. The uncanny valley takes over after the, you know, depending on the lighting and how things change and certain movements doesn't really work out. They'll get there. They'll get there to the point where, you know, writers and actors could go on strike indefinitely and they'll go, okay, so what? We're just going to use AI. So, you pay them a lot less. So all of a sudden, you won't need these actors. I mean, that's the Terminator Judgment Day sort of thing. Arnie has returned to the Terminator franchise too many times. He has, of course, said he won't do any more Terminator movies. And they always fucking say this shit, they don't. They always say it. But when suddenly there's nothing else happening, and I woke up this morning and I felt like I wanted to punch somebody's face in. I don't know. Give me a job. Make me blow something up. You know, and this is what happens. They speak to their agents. Well, yeah, Arnie, we've still got Commando 2 on the back burner. Are you up for that? Of course I am. You know, so your daughter gets kidnapped again. Oh, Jesus. Who would kidnap his daughter now? They know what he's capable of. He's took out entire armies. And if you fuck with his family, God knows where the mother is. And is Cindy stayed with him? Is Ray Dawn Chong going to come back for it? Do you know what? If this actually happened, I would be quite, well, amazed. Also kind of like, oh, this is going to be fucking cringe. But you know what? Oh, I've got to see what they do, how they mangle this. Commando, the first one, had its tongue in its ballistic cheek. It did not take itself seriously. It just didn't. It clearly did. He's running around with grenades, jingle-jangling all over him like... He's put camo face paint on, like, which doesn't blend with anything at all. You blend the colours to... You don't just, like, put war paint on like that, you know. It is ludicrous ludicrous film, but we love it. I'm not knocking the film. I know it's a pantomime. I know that. I knew it from day one, and I bought into it then, and I still buy into it now. I think it's awesome, great entertainment. But it's a comedy. That's all it is. Whereas First Blood and Rambo, you can laugh at Rambo if you want, but Rambo was a damn sight more serious. And, you know, well, po-faced really. You know, even though Rambo 2 and 3 kind of push things, the entire Russian army surround them at the end. Well, what is it now? It's him and Troutman, and like all the Russian armies converging on them. You know, drop your weapons. You know, I promise you'll have fair trial. You know, John, I don't believe him. What do we do then, John? And Rambo's like, well, I guess surround them's out of the question. You know, hell of a time for humour, John. You know. So it did take the piss out of itself as well, but kind of in character as well. But Commando was a body count picture, an uber violent urban thriller with, I mean, Commando. Nothing he did in that movie was a commando tactic or commando strategy. But it's a great title though, Commando, and you gotta love him. But, yeah, stay downwind, your air currents, pick them out. Downwind, you think I could smell them coming? I did. Fuck off. I did a video on that actually. A video on can you actually smell the enemy and or danger? And you can. You genuinely can. But I don't think they were using that in Commando because they knew you could. It was just, he's a super warrior. Every single sense of his is hyper trained and toned and honed. You know, his eyelashes can kill. Well, they probably could, actually. So, folks, a lot of people were getting on to me and saying, have you seen this? Have you heard this news? Isn't it exciting? And I was like, oh, you're kidding me, aren't you? Don't fall for this. I will be happy if they do Commando. I'll be interested. But from a kind of like, you know, this is going to be shit. Go into it with the idea it's going to be shit, but let's just see how shit it is. And if they know it's going to be shit, then at least have the guts and the sincerity to make it a comedy. And then we'll all have a good laugh. If it's genuinely funny, obviously. Sadly, we wouldn't get James Horner return to score it because James Horner took time out from composing music and flew his plane into the ground. No, God, I was absolutely mortified when that happened. Mortified. That really hurt me. So, we want Arnie to come back to the big screen, but to do... There it is. Conan, King Conan. You could do that. And I don't mean have him just sitting on the throne and passing, you know, the Atlantean sword on to his son. Don't do that. You could actually have, because this is some of the comic books, flashbacks to former exploits once he became king and how he defended, you know, his kingdom. And then one final threat from the past comes back again. Not Thulsa Doom, that's not gonna happen. Maybe Sarah Douglas. Oh, as Queen, whatever her name is. I forgot her name now. But the uber sexy Sarah Douglas. Perhaps not so sexy now, but you know, I'd still give her a chance. An older threat comes back and he's got to make one last stand again. I know Arnie came back in 2000, was it 10, 12, 13 with The Last Stand, and it was like with Johnny Knoxville. It wasn't too bad because it knew what it was. It was taking the piss. It was taking the piss out of his age, but he could still run around and do, well, I say still run around. He never could run, Arnie, so he always looks really clumsy running. This is Commando. It's not the stealthiest of guys. Arnie's finest hour. See, I didn't even bother mentioning this because it's so obvious. It's Predator. Nothing tops that. Nothing tops that for Arnie's performances. You can have your Terminators. You can have your Twins. You can have your True Lies. You can have all of that. Keep them. Don't care. Don't care. Predator is the greatest horror action movie ever made. Sci-fi horror action movie ever made. Let's be more specific. And Arnie is absolutely firing on all cylinders. He is awesome, but it's under the direction of John McTiernan. So it's a movie's perfection. Perfection. One line is stupidity. I've done a video about how that team could really exist if they genuinely were in that environment. Do they work as a cohesive team, or is it just cinematic bullshit? Well, actually, well, go back and watch that video, because I did discuss each character and their tactics that they employ, and some of it actually is pretty good. A lot of it is pretty silly, but it gets around it. The marriage is perfect. The blend works. Commando is just, as I say, it's a pantomime with guns and a body count. But it works because of that. So you're going to bring John Matrix back. What exactly can he do? Arnie as Conan could still wield a sword. He's always doing little videos of him wielding the Atlantean sword, doing the poses with his beer gut and all that, like, and his big love handles. Made out of Austrian oak, of course. And but I want to see that. Commando, Retribution. It's pie in the sky, that. It's just, someone's just having a laugh. It ain't gonna happen, folks. And if it does, well, I'll just sit here and go, well, I was wrong, but let's talk about Commando 2 Retribution. Let's review it. So, doesn't matter, end of the day. Folks, it is really, really super hot here. I'm about to go round town with my mates. Town as in Liverpool, and have a big boozy sesh, a big catch-up sesh. But I'm in pain. I've got I always get bitten me, don't I? I've got a bite or something under my armpit, which is fucking excruciating. And there's a lump there. Don't worry, it is a bite, but my God, it's painful. And it kind of, it's about Commando, where he's tossing grenades left, right, and centre, and he's pulling out the Desert Eagle. He's got that great big gun, which I've forgotten the name of now. You know, you pick your targets. And he's got his shotgun, he's got Uzis, he's got everything there, and his fucking rocket launcher and all that, like. And how could you fail to hit him? Just stop running about through all the shrubberies and the potted plants and those manicured lawns and hedgerows and the topiary and the fountains. Just stop, take aim. There he is. Goosh. Kenny. Timber. And then one grenade. You know, he chucks grenades and people fly 60 feet through the air off these green covered springboards to blend in very badly with the gardens and lawns of El Presidente. You know, whoosh, and but then one ugly. He looks like one of those guys from the old Lauren Hardy movies. One who always plays like a convict, or a jailbird. And he's like, his nose is over there, his mouth's over there somewhere, and he goes, and lobs a grenade, and Arnie just goes, But for way too long, boom! He gets blown through the air as well, and he limps off into the garden shed. And takes off his combat vest. Well, that's smart, doesn't it? Well, that's how I feel right now. It genuinely does fucking hurt. And I mean, who you can have as a bad guy? You had Vernon Wells as Bennett. Bennett. I'm not going to shoot you between your eyes. I'm going to shoot you between the balls. How are you going to recapture all of that? You're going to have two aging bastards in wheelchairs jousting, you know, hailing their own colostomy bags. Oh, boosh, and they're going, whoa. Already I've come up with the best idea for Commando 2. They're in a veterans rest home. But someone's infiltrated. And he's there, and it'll take him half an hour to get anywhere near, to Matrix. Oh God, I don't know. But you could do that. Like Indy in a rest home, and they hear that someone's gone, or just over that hill there is some Aztec bit of gold. How about it, Indy? How about it, Indy? One last adventure, eh? And Indy's under his fedora just... Is it Monday? Is it Jelly Day? You know, it just you could have loads of fun with these actors playing their own age, and like, look, no dizzy CG, no stupid stunt doubles with like, you know, matted on faces, no de-aging. Let's just do it as we are, and it really could work. I think it'd be hysterical, and you could actually have adventure. Cocoon did this. I think you could do it with Indy, and I don't know, I don't know if you could do it so well with John Matrix, and obviously, they don't be like, you got all the steel drums going, and all the urban funk fusion jazz band that James Horner, brought that kind of sound into it. They'd be like, turn that noise down. They've got hearing aids and all that, like. Indy hasn't got a bullwhip anymore. He's got a mahogany walking stick, and a pacemaker. God. Greet old age as it happens to you. There's no point fighting it. No point fighting it. I'm getting older. I still run around like an idiot, but I will still run around convincingly because it's genuinely me doing it. I'll fall over someone's wall. I'll climb up ladders and run across roofs. I do that shit all the time. But there will come a time when suddenly, the old knee, and I've got a dud knee anyway. I fell out of a tree doing escape and evasion. I've told you that story before. Oh, what an idiot. What an idiot. The one thing that stuck in my head was don't climb a tree. Don't get in bushes. Don't go in an outhouse. Don't go in a shed. Don't go in a barn. Stay out in the open. Dig a hole, get into the most unsociable bit of foliage you can imagine. But do not climb obvious things. What did I do? When they were breathing down my neck, and I was exhausted, and also I hadn't slept for like 2 days, and I was starving, and I just went, oh my god, they're almost on me. So I climbed a tree, I fucking fell out of it, didn't I? Smashed me knee on a cobbled stone track as well. Oh my god. Did they care? No. I don't mean it. Boot! Oh, this knee, bang! Yeah. Gotta train hard to fight hard, haven't you? But so yeah, dodgy limbs, arthritis, Zimmer frames, hip replacements. Let these old heroes, if they're going to do this sort of thing, do it like it really would be. You may have been an action. Even for the character, you've fought wars on every continent. You've done everything that the human body can possibly achieve. Now you're an aged, decrepit ruin, but you've still got heart, and you've still got the knowledge, and you can improvise and adapt. Come on, use that wheelchair. God almighty. Ah, dear. So, Commando 2 Retribution. Coming to a cinema near you. Never. Folks, happy and always shall be Kilt-Man. Please, in the meantime, in this ever, what the hell are we talking about in between time? Please keep it Celtic, and I'm going to see you all if I survive tonight. Because if I see a crane, I've done this before, if I see a crane and I've had a few bevies, must climb crane. Like Casino Royale, I must run up the crane. I've done that. Don't recommend it. Don't recommend it, especially when the police turn up. Don't recommend it. Folks, just have fun and just be yourselves. Don't try and emulate movie stars, because it's all fucking fake anyway. So, a bit like giant freaking robot man. Fuck that. Fuck them. Lies, I tell you. So, anyway. This was the last time. Until the next time. No chance.